Hi guys, it's Crystal. Today I have partnered with Cricut to show you guys how easy it is to use your Cricut to make over your porch. So today I surprised my sister-in-law and I completely redid her porch using my Cricut Explorer 3. I'm going to show you a lot of easy projects, so let's go ahead and get started. For our first project, let's go ahead and start off with something super easy. I found this Hello right here inside of Cricut Design Space. I brought it in and I'm going to go ahead and size it down. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send it over to the mat, and I'm actually not using a mat because I'm using smart vinyl. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down. So what's really nice about the smart vinyl is you don't have to have a mat, and you can do small pieces as well as super long pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and load this right inside of my machine here. And then we're going to go ahead and let the machine cut it out. Now, today I'm going to show you guys a wide variety of using the mat, not using the mat, short pieces and long pieces. So that's going to help you guys out a lot, I hope. So what we're going to do is go ahead and unload it, and I'm going to weed this. So this is a super duper easy project. It's basically like a sticker. Now, I am using permanent, so this is outside and I want it to last a long time and hold up to the elements. So I'm going to go ahead and take some transfer tape here. I'm just going to cut down a piece that's going to fit right on top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel away one side. And I'm going to lay it down and go ahead and rub it out nice and smooth. So pulling and pushing at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and use my Cricut XL scraper and rub it right in. So this is going to help the transfer tape pick it up. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off any excess. So let's take it to the door. So all you got to do is apply this, use your scraper tool and pull at an angle, and that is it. So this is something that's super trendy. Next up, let's do our DIY planter. So these planters are super affordable. I found it locally. Usually you can even find these sometimes at the Dollar Tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this. I found a really cute design right inside of Cricut Design Space. So the very first thing I'm going to do is size it, figure out about how high I can go, and then I'm going to go ahead and resize this down. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to duplicate this 3 times so that way it will wrap all the way around. Now, what I'm going to do once again is I'm not going to use my mat, so I'm going to actually use my roll holder here. So Cricut has a roll holder that just attaches right onto your Cricut Explorer 3, and I'm just going to go ahead and set that there. We're going to go ahead and set our roll in, and we're going to go ahead and guide it right underneath just like this. What's really cool is this has a built-in paper trimmer. So we're going to go ahead and continue to feed this right underneath those little white feet, and then we're going to go ahead and go back to our settings and choose that it is the Smart Permanent Vinyl, and then we're going to go ahead and hit the load button. So what this is going to do, the Cricut Explorer 3 does have sensors that's going to tell it how much material that you have loaded in, just to make sure that you have enough. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and hit go and let this cut out. What's really exciting about this is I didn't have to load multiple mats. I didn't have to get out my long mat. I'm going to pull this back just a little bit and trim off the excess, unload it, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut off any remaining extras so I can save them for later. So since this is a round surface, I don't really want to wrap the whole thing at one time because round surfaces are a little bit tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them down into individual pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly weed all the way through here. And as you guys can see, the Smart Vinyl is absolutely great. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is going to fit on here correctly. Get me a piece of transfer tape, and I'm going to be able to use the same piece of transfer tape for all 3 pieces. So we're going to go ahead and peel this back, and we're going to line it just like this on top. We're going to go ahead and push and pull. And we're going to smooth everything out with that Cricut XL scraper tool. So we're going to go ahead and repeat the same process with all of these. So all you're going to do is flip it over and peel at an angle. I highly recommend that you guys use the Cricut XL scraper tool with the Smart Materials. It works like a dream. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take some rubbing alcohol and a clean cloth and clean that up. And I'm actually using 2 scraper tools underneath to hold this still. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this just like so. So from one side to the next, you can go from the center down, kind of like a taco. You just want to smooth everything out. I'm going to work from one side to the next. This material that this bucket is made out of has a little bit of a texture, so you may have to work at it just a little bit, but it doesn't take long at all. So I just go from one side to the next, and then we're going to go ahead and just slowly kind of peel at an angle a little bit, and that will help out a lot. So that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat this same process all the way around. So as you guys can see, how nice does this look? It looks expensive, right? All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next project. Let's make a pillow. So we're going to use Cricut's blanks. These are 18-inch by 18-inch pillowcases, and they're super nice. You can have them for outside, for inside, and we're going to use Cricut infusible ink. So Cricut infusible ink is really cool because it becomes one with the fabric, so there's no texture at all, and this will be perfect for outside elements. All right, so I found this super cute design once again inside of Cricut Design Space, brought it in, and I'm just going to size it down to what I want for my project. I'm actually going to make it as big as I can, so that way it'll be nice size for my pillow. So what I want to do is go ahead and choose the Cricut infusible sheets. Now, one thing that I forgot to do was mirror this. So make sure with your Cricut infusible ink is that you mirror it. You guys will see me go back in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and load this on my mat. Don't worry about if there's any sort of wrinkles. This is completely normal. It'll happen sometimes. Just smooth them out as best as you can. So I'm going to go ahead and mirror this now, as you guys can see here. And I'm going to go back in, choose that same, Cricut infusible ink, and now we are ready to go. So I'm using my blue mat here. That way it'll release a lot easier, and we're going to load it. Now, if you have not tried Cricut infusible ink with the Cricut Explorer 3, wow, game changer. It really cuts like a breeze. So you can definitely use this with your other Cricut Explorer machines too, or your maker, but I really love the way that it works with the Cricut Explorer 3. So I'm going to go ahead and start popping this. Now, with the Cricut Explorer 3, I've found you really don't need to pop it very much. This is just helping to loosen it up. It just cuts it so nicely. So what's really cool about infusible ink as well is you don't need the weeding tools. You can do most of this by hand. So if you need a weeding tool, you can bring that in, but most of it just pops out by hand. All right, so now we are ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and take my Cricut heat pad here, and I'm going to go ahead and lay my pillowcase right on top. So the first thing that you want to do is smooth it out and remove any sort of moisture. So today I'm using the Cricut Easy Press. This is the 10 by 12, and I've got it at 385 for 60 seconds. So once you've done this, you're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and line this up. You want to let it cool down a little bit and then apply this right on top. Now, this backing is sticky, so it's going to help stick, but you definitely want some Cricut heat transfer tape, and you want to apply that all the way around to help it from shifting. Now, I'm going to have to do this in two separate motions here. So if you have to do this, make sure you guys are very still, give it some pressure, nice even pressure, and it'll work out super easy. So as you guys can see there, it looks like it shifted. It did not. It's just where it's starting to peel away because it already did its job on one side. So just going to press the next side, and we're just going to peel right up right away. Look at how good that looks. Super nice. Once again, one with a pillow. All you have to do is throw in a pillow. All right, there you have it. Super, super cute. All right, next up, let's go ahead and spruce up this wreath. So this is an already made wreath, and I'm just going to add this wood blank here with this K in a circle. So I'm using the Cricut wood veneer, and so I found this circle here, as well as I just made a K with a letter. So I just typed out K with one of these fonts here. I'll have it listed below. I'm going to attach both of these after I've got it sized, and then I'm going to go ahead and send it over. So I'm going to use the Cricut veneer settings. So I'm just going to type that in. So we're going to look that up, and we're ready to go. Now I'm going to change this over to the deep cut blade, which is the black one. So you have to purchase this separate. I'm going to go ahead and load it right inside and shut it. So what we're going to do is go ahead and load this onto our mat. I'm going to use the purple mat. So if you're using any sort of wood, you definitely want to use your purple mat. This is going to help grip it a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and load this right under those white feet, load it right in, and we're going to let it cut it out. So it's super nice. It just cuts right through this stuff, works super great. Highly recommend snagging one of those deep cut blades. All right, so we're just going to let it do its thing. Now, I've just checked it, made sure before I unloaded that it was cut all the way through. So before I remove the excess wood, I'm actually going to go ahead and paint it. So that way I'm not having to try to paint those teensy tiny little pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and just paint right where it cut, the pieces that I need. And I'm using outdoor paint. So this is going to go through the weather and everything. All right. So next up, I've got these wood rounds that I found at my local craft store, and then my husband just drilled a hole right through here so we can have some twine go through. So once again, I'm using outdoor white craft paint. You can usually find these for $1. All right, so now at this point, we're going to go ahead and remove our excess wood from here, just like so. Once you've got your pieces, you want to take some permanent glue here. You can use some super glue, you can use a hot glue gun, whatever you prefer, something that's going to hold up outside. And then you just want to apply it all the way around. Make sure you're getting glue all the way because these are really small pieces. And I'm going to line it right onto that circle. So I'm just making sure I'm avoiding that hole that we drilled right through for the string. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with my letter K. Now you could go through the fonts, whatever type of font that you want. You can use any sort of letters that you would like. So I really love the way that this cursive font had looked. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is just try to center this up as best as possible. And then what I want to do is really press down. Since these are teensy tiny pieces, you can take a clean paintbrush and use that to press everything in, and it'll help kind of dust away any of that excess glue as well. So there you go. And next thing you need to do is just lay it right there in the center. Figure out about how much string you want to use. I'm using some twine here. You can use juke string, whatever you prefer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that down, run it through that hole here, and then we're just going to attach it to the wreath. So you can just tie this right on to that wreath, or if you have one like mine, I have this little circle here that holds onto the door hanger, you can just run it through there as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and double knot this a few times to just make sure it holds secure. So you want to check it, make sure your placement is hanging down about where you need to. If not, you can definitely cut that string and start over. This would be perfect for holidays. You could do pumpkins or whatever you would prefer. You could switch it out. All right, so there you have it. How super nice does this look? So let's go ahead and move on to a DIY rug. So for the rug, you're just going to need a rug as well as some paint and freezer paper. Did you guys know that you can use freezer paper with your Cricut? You definitely can. So I found this super cute design once again here in Design Space, and what I'm using is the contour, and I'm just removing anything I don't want. So the only pieces I want to keep here is this is our happy place and a square. So I'm going to go ahead and size this, and I'm going to tell it we are cutting on the mat. I'm going to use the 12 by 24, and I brought it as big as I can for my mat here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get ready to cut this out. I'm actually going to go ahead and choose washi settings. The washi is perfect for this project. So what you want to do, I have a big, huge roll of freezer paper. Yours may not be this wide, but if it is, just size it down to what you need. And you're just going to put the glossy side down towards the mat. And then you're going to go ahead and just smooth everything out as much as you can. And then you're going to take some scissors here and trim off that excess. It doesn't have to be super straight or anything like that. You just want to make sure that you have enough on your mat. All right, so now we are ready to load this right inside of the machine and hit go. So once again, the blue mat with the freezer paper and the washi settings, it cuts like a dream. Super nice. So what we're going to do is weed out all of these letters. Normally these are the letters we would keep, but for a stencil, you want to read it in the opposite direction. So we're just going to take all of these out, and as you guys can see, it cuts so nicely. This is pretty delicate. So I'm going to go ahead and remove any excess. And then you're just carefully going to remove this off the mat. Once again, highly recommend using the blue mat for this. So we're going to leave those little pieces. We're going to come back to them in a minute. So we're going to apply this right in the center. Now I am using my small Cricut Easy Press, my 6x7. You can use your mini one, or you can just use an iron. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the heat here. You could definitely even just use push pins if you want to. And that's what we're going to use for our tiny pieces. So this is not really stuck to this. This is just kind of holding in place, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of these pieces off the mat nice and easy and just place them one by one using my Cricut weeding tool here. And then I'm going to take my push pins and I'm going to push a pin right in the center of every single one of these. It's a lot easier than taking your iron and trying to get these nice and perfect. Just a push pin is more than enough. So once you have all your pieces, you're ready to go. We're going to take some outdoor paint. Once again, you just want to make sure that it's weatherproof. And then I'm using a stencil paintbrush. You could definitely use a regular paintbrush. The point of this, you definitely want to do a pouncing motion. Don't do a rubbing, do a pouncing motion. You're just going to do that, and you're not even going to let it dry. At this point, you're going to remove all of your needles, remove all of those little center pieces first, and then we're going to peel this right off. And there you have it. Now, if you want to deepen the color you want to kind of fix any little spots that may be bare, go back with a smaller paintbrush and do that same pouncing motion. All right, so let's make this super cute candle with the little faces you guys can see here. Lots of super cute faces to pick here inside of Cricut Design Space. So I chose this one here. I've already got it cut out. I'm using permanent smart vinyl again, and then I've got my transfer tape here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my XL scraper tool. Once again, rub this in nicely here, and then we're just going to go ahead and peel at an angle and apply it to our candle. So this is one of those citronella candles for outside, and I thought it just spruced it up even more. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this just like so, rubbing everything down, and then we're going to peel at an angle. And there you have it. You have a super adorable candle. How cute is this? So how nice is this makeover? Super cute, super easy projects, guys. We used infusible ink. We used smart materials. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.